Hello and welcome to another episode of the Portrait Profit Show. Lens Legends, I'm so glad you're here with me today. The Portrait Profit Show is a place where we go bravely into the business side of photography to help you thrive. I'm your host, Jim Landers, your guide on the business side, and it's my mission to uplift portrait photographers to make a great income doing what they love. Each week on the Portrait Profit Show, you get tips and systems on the business side of photography designed to help you gain a mastery over marketing and sales, reducing the struggles that most photographers face so you can finally get what you deserve. This show is for photographers who feel like they've got something to learn on the business side. If that's you, you are in the right place. Welcome to the Portrait Profit Show. The Portrait Profit Show is brought to you by Digital Pro Lab and Landers Photography School. For Digital Pro Lab, and let me put that up in a different way. There we go. For Digital Pro Lab, Amanda and her team, oh my gosh, if you've not worked with Digital Pro Lab yet, you don't know, and you are missing out. You just don't know it yet. Go to digitalprolab.com and find out the difference. Their employees are career people, and I guarantee you that makes a difference. Digitalprolab.com. Go visit Amanda and her team. You'll love it. And then, of course, for Landers Photography School, my company, I teach the photography side as well as the business side. Of course, here on the Portrait Profit Show, you're really only hearing the business side, but I do teach both. I do lean heavily towards the business side because I don't want you to be like most photographers and struggle. And that's where most photographers are. Now, there's a lot of reasons why they struggle. One is their price list is actually too low to sustain a profitable business, but they don't know it. And they certainly don't feel it because they feel like if they were to raise their prices, they're going to lose what little business they have. Well, if the path you're taking doesn't cause you to reach where you're going, then a change must happen. And if you've been doing this for a while and you're still not where you want to go, reach out to me, Jim at landersphotoschool.com. Just send me an email, Jim at landersphotoschool.com, or you can interact with me here on the show over in the comments section. Speaking of, I want to encourage you to use that comment section and hit the like and the love button as well. In fact, go over to the comment section right now and enter in hashtag live. That lets me know you're watching here today on either Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube. And for the first time, we're actually live streaming on Instagram today. This is episode number 177, and the first time we've live streamed to Instagram. So, hey, we're there right now on the Portrait Profits page for Instagram. So if you're watching from there, I sure do appreciate it because this was new. This just happened for me. But the comment section I'll get to later for Instagram. The only ones that I see right now are the ones that happen on the Facebook pages that we are simulcasting to. All right, enough of that. Enter in hashtag live if you're watching this live right now. And if you're watching the replay later, please enter in hashtag replay, letting me know that you're watching it later. I also want you to share the Portrait Profit Show. Just go over to the down below where it is on your page, the post, and you see this share button. Share it. Let other people know that this is a thing, that this is beneficial to all concerned, and that it uplifts the entire photography community, making it more possible and plausible that you're going to be able to make this a real business. Now, if you've in the ever increasingly fast-paced world of photography, you know how things are. Gear comes and goes. Technology keeps on changing. Whether you're upgrading to the latest mirrorless marvel, maybe just switching systems, which in most cases isn't recommended, but people do it, or simply you're just decluttering your collection. You're selling equipment that is an inevitable part of many photographers' journeys. But in a market flooded with options, how do you ensure you're getting the best deal while also protecting yourself from potential concerns? This lesson today, quick tips on selling extra equipment. This is designed to help to help you and guide you through the process of selling your equipment, from assessing your gear to closing the deal. We'll explore various selling platforms, each with its own set of advantages and trade offs, to help you choose the best option that aligns best with your priorities. Are you looking for a quick, hassle free sale, or are you willing to invest more time for a potentially higher return? Do you prefer the security of established resellers, or are you comfortable navigating the world of peer to peer sales? Throughout this guide today, we'll cover 7 main topics. And the first is preparing your equipment for sale, choosing the right selling platform, pricing your gear competitively, creating compelling listings, managing the sales process, handling shipping and local meetups, and navigating potential legal and tax considerations. The goal of this guide is to provide you with knowledge so you gain the confidence to make beneficial decisions. By the end, you'll be equipped with a toolkit of strategies to help you sell your equipment efficiently, conveniently, safely, and at the best possible price. Whether you're looking for a quick, hassle-free sale or willing to invest time for a higher return, I've got you covered. Now, if that sounds interesting to you, do me a favor, go over to the comments section and say, I'm ready. Go to the comments section right now. Just type in, I'm ready. All right, you guys, if you haven't already, enter in hashtag live, letting me know that you're here watching this show right now, live as I'm presenting it. And I see a bunch of you already have. Awesome. Uh, I'm going to do 3 or 4 shout outs real quick, just because there's a ton of stuff to cover today. By the way, if you it's a good idea to have a notepad and pen, because I'm going to be going through this fast and there's a lot of stuff. And all of it probably makes sense. And so maybe there's just little parts of it you're going to have to write down, but be prepared to write some stuff down. So I see Robert. How you doing, Robert? It's always good to see you. And Sean, and glad you're here. Sierra's here, and Janice. I'll do some more shout outs here in just a little bit if I think about it. But thank you guys for being here. All right. So if you haven't already, enter in hashtag live, letting me know that you are here. The first chapter that I want to cover today is preparation for selling. So you've decided to sell a thing or two. Let's talk about getting your gear ready to sell. A little prep work might put a few extra bucks in your pocket. Besides, it's just the right thing to do. First thing you want to do for assessing your equipment is take stock of your gear. If you don't know yet what it is that you want to sell, a lot of times you do, but some don't. So let's see what you've got: cameras, tripods, flashes, that lens you bought for that one sunset, but you're not really using it anymore. Don't forget the little stuff either. That includes lens caps, memory cards, even fancy strap that you never use. It all counts. Second thing I want you to consider is the condition of the gear. Now, I know your gear, that's your baby, that's your stuff, but it's time to get real and see it from a point of view other than yours. We're talking about getting brutally honest, which, for some of us is easier said than done. We're talking about things like calling something like new, but a like new lens or camera body that has a few battle scars, that's not like new. It might be to you. Here's a quick checklist. Are there any scratches or dents? Be honest. We have all dropped something at some point. Is everything working smoothly? If you've got sticky buttons, you have a sticky problem. For lenses, check for any funky stuff inside: dust, fungus, weird spots. You're going to have a hard time selling it if it's got those kinds of problems. You got to note that. Got to let people know. Here's how's the battery life on your rechargeable gear? Is it not quite what it used to be? Remember, honesty is the best policy here. Buyers appreciate it, and it'll save you from awkward conversations later. Besides, do you really feel it's a good idea to sell your problems to unsuspecting people? And if you do, I can't be your friend. We got to be honest here. Shutter count. It's like an odometer on your car. It tells buyers how much action your camera has seen. Most cameras kind of hide this information, or you might need to use some software to dig it up. But buyers are going to ask, so prepare that information. If you don't know how to get it, it's very easy to find online. Just do a search. The fourth thing is playing the price is right. Now, for the fun part, figuring out what your gear is worth. It's time to channel your inner detective. You want to hit up eBay. Check out what similar items actually sold for, not what people are asking for it, what it's being sold for. We also want to see what the big boys like KEH and B&H are selling your gear for. Remember, your gear's condition plays a big role. Be realistic. If your camera's been through wars, it's probably not going to fetch top dollar. All right, it's decision time. What stays and what goes? You're going to ask yourself, when's the last time I used this? Have I got something newer that does the same job and I don't need a backup? Or this is the backup's backup. Does it have sentimental value? It's okay if it does. I have things that are. So I'm unlikely to sell those. Is selling worth the hassle or should you just keep it as a backup? Sometimes, if you're only going to get peanuts for it, it might be worth hanging on to. You never know when that old kit lens might come in handy. You know what? If this is helping, go to the comments real quick and enter in "It's helping." I got a lot more to go, so you might say it's helping a little later in today's lesson. But also do me a favor and hit that like button, hit that love button each time you hear something that's interesting. And if you've got a story to share, hey, comment section, that's the place to do it. Now let's talk about cleaning and maintenance. Now that we've figured out exactly what it is that you're selling, it's time to make that gear shine. A little elbow grease can go a long way in making your stuff more appealing to buyers. In my opinion, it's the way to go. It makes me feel better about selling it. It makes me feel better about even giving it away. Even when I give stuff away, I still often will clean it ahead of time. So here is when it comes to cleaning, chances are it's already in a good condition. But what if it's been sitting for a while? It may need some attention. So for most situations, you just need four tools. A rocket blower, and for those of you who don't know what that is, there you go on the screen right now. It's kind of a leaf blower for your camera to get to the nooks and crannies. Now, some do use canned air, and for certain things, the barrel of the lens, the body of the camera, probably fine. Do not use canned air on your image sensor. In fact, well, I'll come back to that here in just a little bit when it comes to cleaning an image sensor. So, about the next of the 4 tools, a microfiber cloth, and I assume everybody knows what a microfiber cloth is, but I if not, it's what people who wear glasses use to clean their glasses, but they usually do come with lenses, and it's just something to keep it clean. So, your t-shirt might be fine for some things, but don't use it on the glass surfaces, and and other than as something to put down on your workspace, then I want you to avoid paper towels also. So soft cloth is the third thing. I want it to be clean and dry. For the camera body, you want to make it look like it just came out of the box. Wipe it down with a clean, dry, soft cotton cloth. And you know what? I didn't tell you the fourth one, a lens pen. There we go. Lens pens are a cool tool. You see the brush on one side, but on the other side is this little, soft, small item that you place directly on a lens to help clean it, and go in small circles as you're doing that. But this is a good way to clean. You're very unlikely to harm anything with a tool like this. So another good tool is that, that lens cleaning tool. Lens pen, that's what they're called. Now, camera body, make it look like it just came out of the box. Wipe down the body with a clean, dry, soft cotton cloth. If needed, a slightly damp cloth is just fine. Think of it as giving your camera a sponge bath. If and only if you know what you're doing, clean the sensor. If not, don't risk it. Get a pro to do it. Yes, it'll cost you 75 to 125 bucks to do that. Okay. Yeah. But it is not worth the risk of messing it up. Now, for the LCD screens and the viewfinder, use a microfiber cloth. For lenses, well, lenses deserve a lot of extra special attention, especially on the glass parts of it. So use a lens pen or a microfiber cloth for the glass. Circular motions like you're waxing a tiny car. Now, when it comes to cleaning the barrel, well, don't forget about cleaning the barrel. Don't forget about cleaning the lens mount, the lens contacts, the screw mount for so you can screw on the filters. Clean everything. You might use Q-tips for that. What about accessories like camera straps? Clean the leather straps with leather cleaner. If it's another material, usually washing machine is just fine to clean it, but not all. So you're taking a risk there. But wipe down things like chargers and cables. Just go all the way down those entire cables. Wipe down any tripods or light stands. Tighten any loose screws. And then once you feel like you've got it clean, make sure that maybe as you're cleaning it, make sure the item works. With the camera, take some test shots. Make sure all those buttons and dials are doing their thing. Check the autofocus. If anything seems off, well, figure it out. Better you find it than your buyer find it and be disappointed and ask for a return, a refund. Let's talk about documentation and other things like the boxes. Uh, if you've got the boxes, those are preferred by most buyers. No boxes, no worries. That's not a problem. But especially if you're selling peer to peer, the boxes kind of imply that you take care of your things, and that is attractive to a buyer. When it comes to owner's manuals, man, if you've got those, I'd say keep them in the boxes because how often do you refer to them? But maybe you've got them in your camera bag. Put them in the camera box. Send those along with the stuff. Round up all the manuals and warranty cards that you can find. If you can't find the physical copies, these things are available. You just do a Google search. You don't necessarily need to print them, but maybe you write out where to find it just so it's easy for them. What about receipts? Original seats receipts are like a pedigree for your gear. They prove you didn't hmm, find it one day when out on a walk. And they're helpful for warranty stuff too. As far as service, gather up any service records or repair receipts. I want you to make an inventory of everything that you're selling. Main attractions would be cameras, lenses, the big stuff. The supporting cast would be all the little bits and things like lens caps, hoods, lens hoods, camera straps, etc. Now we need to get things in order, like paperwork. So list out all the manuals and documents that you've gathered. Just make an inventory of everything. Any extras that you're throwing in to sweeten the deal. So maybe you're doing some kind of a package deal where things are together. And there you have it. So your gear's now cleaned. It's checked. It's documented. It's like sending your kid off to college. You've done all you can do to prepare them for their new home. Now let's talk about choosing where to sell. Chapter 2. There are a lot of options, but likely only one or two that are going to appeal to you. So let's break down the options. The first is resellers. Now, these are the easy button of selling. First up, resellers. So these are the folks who will buy your gear outright. You just take it to them, they give you an estimate, you accept or decline, and quick and easy. You might not get top dollar for it, but it is competitive. So you can go to a local camera shop. In my area, that's the Camera Exchange on San Pedro. So if you're in San Antonio, Texas, or surrounding areas, the Camera Exchange is the place to go to do things like this. Yeah, there's pawn shops, but they don't know the value of stuff. Take it to the Camera Exchange. All right. By the way, I'm gonna put Chris up here on the screen. Chris is a manager at the Camera Exchange. So this is a good guy. I was talking to him on Saturday, 2 days ago, about this, and because I was telling him what I was going to be covering today, and he shared with me a lot of things, about what it is that they do. It's a quick and easy process. Yeah, you can imagine it takes a little bit of time, but it takes a lot less time than you probably expect. You bring your things in. If you've got an inventory already, great. They're going to make an inventory anyway. They do make things so easy. All the stuff I'm going to be covering today, they take care of all of it. The only thing you do, take a moment of your time to bring it in. You still want to keep it clean. You still want to have the things that boxes and manuals. You want to have that stuff with it, but they make the process so easy. You bring your stuff in, it takes them 5-10 minutes to go through the paperwork and do the research that they need to do to be able to give you a quote. And if you accept the quote, you get cash on the spot. So if you don't have a buyer lined up already, this, in my opinion, is the quickest, hassle free, and most convenient way to sell your equipment. So places like the Camera Exchange offer a fair, competitive price within 5 to 10 minutes. Plus, they will even give you more if you are there because you want to upgrade. You're trading up, you're buying something else in their store, they're giving you a store credit. They will give you more to incentivize you to do that. You just need to tell them. Well, they'll probably ask, but that's how it goes. So if there's a con to this, a negative, it's maybe you don't get the highest price, but man, based on the convenience of this, I think the difference is fair and worth it. But that's one guy's opinion. There's certain things I will invest a lot of my time into. This, generally speaking, is not going to be one of those things. But what if you have something that does have a good amount of value? Maybe there are some reasons why you want to do this. So a place like the Camera Exchange is more likely to buy the higher value items. So the cameras, the lenses, the tripods, the flash equipment. So they're more likely to buy those kinds of things, and the smaller things less likely to buy. So it depends on what you're selling, what you're trying to accomplish. Now, there's other resellers, like ones that you can access anywhere in the world, and that would be places like KEH Camera. They're known for fair prices too, and they're grading their gear meticulously. Plus, I've heard that they'll buy pretty much anything. If there's a con, it's the process can take a little bit longer, and you'll likely get less than selling directly to another photographer, so a peer-to-peer sale. Of course, you've also got uh, companies like B&H, and I would say they're very similar to KEH. B&H Photo been around a long time. They're a big name, so they're legit. They also offer free shipping for items over $100, so at least the shipping won't cost you anything. So, cons, same. Their quotes can be lower than local camera stores. So and sometimes even lower than KEH. So yeah, there's B&H is awesome, is fantastic, but not always the best place to sell, but they do make it easy. Now, I do suggest that you check their We Buy page when you're selling, because they sometimes run promotions with higher buying prices. So they might be the right option for you. So go to their We Buy page. They're a trusted name. The next one I want to share with you is Adorama. Very similar to KEH, very similar to B&H as far as their process, as far as what they pay. So this is Adorama is another trusted name. It's known for quick payments. It's known for a smooth process. Like B&H and KEH, they're well closer to B&H. Their offers might be a little bit less, but check and find out. Next thing is online marketplaces. Hmm, let me take that off. There we go. Next is the places that are uh, that are online where you're doing the selling. So yes, KEH and B&H and Adorama are places where you can buy stuff online, but you've got to send your stuff in to them in order for them to give you a price on it. Online marketplaces, this is where you are you're putting your stuff online. You're making uh, the post. You're giving it the description. You're doing all that. So it's a little more work for you. But I have come across some people that say they found their best selling price, using these online marketplaces. It takes a bit more work on your part, but places like eBay, the pros, it's got a huge audience, potential for great prices, especially if you have some rare or high-end gear. There's cons though, because there's fees and they're eating into your profits. And you've got to deal with the shipping and potential returns. So is that the way to go? Well, for some, yes. They love that kind of thing. And clearly, many people do like selling on eBay. So it's a good tool. What about Amazon? Quite similar. It's another massive audience. For the most part, people trust Amazon. If you're talking about the cons, well, you do have the fees and you're taking care of all the stuff. What about places like Craigslist? It's free to list and you can do local in-person sales. It could be online as well. There are cons, of course, so be prepared for a lot of lowball offers and no shows. Anytime you're talking about meeting people in person, obviously, and I don't know that I even need to say this, but I'd be remiss for not saying it. Safety first. Always meet in a public place. Maybe bring a buddy. I'll talk more about that here in a moment. What about the Facebook marketplace? It's kind of like Craigslist, but people have profiles. So for some, this feels a bit safer than Craigslist. Of course, you may get bombarded with messages asking if it's still available. All right, there's pros and cons to every tool. You know how it is. Next, I want to talk about, by the way, if this is helping, will you do me a favor and say it's helping in the comments? Let me know. I want to hear your opinion. And if you've tried something and you've had some good experiences, share that. If you've had some that would not be classified as good, hey, share those too. We're curious. Next thing I want to talk about is photography forums, groups, communities. For some, this is their favorite place to sell their stuff because your fellow photographers are hanging out there. Now, there's some online types of communities. There are some in-person types. An online example would be Reddit. So the r/photo market. It's free. The community is pretty good at self-policing against scams. Of course, you need to build up some amount of what they call karma before you can sell, and PayPal is pretty much mandatory in Reddit. Um, and don't forget to use WTS in your post title. That is want to sell. So that's just identifying that you're trying to sell something. We could consider things like Facebook groups. You're probably a member of some. So a Facebook group such as the San Antonio Photography Facebook group. Now, this is called San Antonio Photography. There's also another group called San Antonio Photography Facebook group. That's actually not from San Antonio. A lot of the members are, but it in and of itself is actually in New Zealand. They just have a whole bunch of these in lots of major cities where they call it that because it's part of their marketing tools. Now, San Antonio Photography is here. I know because this is my group. It has 11,000 members, and I don't charge to list, nor do I charge a percentage of your sales. It's totally free. It's totally up to you. I don't have anything to do with it. It's great for local sales, but make sure that you're following the common sense rules. I mean, you can go to the rules and find out what they are, but it's common sense type stuff. So if you go to facebook.com/groups/SA photo, you'll be able to see more information about this. Now, there is another online community that could be beneficial to you. In fact, you know what? Let me put that I mentioned the address, but there it is now on your screen. All right, so enough of that. Let's talk about some, before I get to the local options, I also want to mention some other online forums, such as the Fred Miranda forums. There's over 300,000 members. It opened up in 2000. And so there's a bunch of stuff available, just photography in general, but it's a great place to sell your stuff. It's also a good place to research your prices, how much your stuff might be worth. So is DP Review forums. So that's Digital Photography Review Discussion Forums. This started Oh, man, this started 1 year before, Fred Miranda Forum, so not it's about the same age. This forum is great for brand-specific sales, like, if you're a Canon lover, head over to the Canon forum. Pretty cool. Right, now let's move over to local options. This is camera clubs, photography meetups. So, you're selling to people you know, or you've met once, or you've seen them in the club somehow. It might limit the audience, but you get to talk to someone. You might already know them. So there's certain advantages there. And you may even be willing to offer to let them test the gear at the next meetup. I mean, that's one fantastic way to know if you want that piece of equipment or not. So there's one. So camera clubs such as uh, uh, Photo SA is a camera club that's my camera club, and this is that kind of thing isn't done through me. It's done peer to peer, and so you're talking to someone and you realize they're looking for something that you have. Okay, great, and you're even at any point willing to allowed to bring stuff to the meetings just to share with people that I am looking to sell this item. So camera clubs, fantastic way to do it. Now, of course, when we're talking about local, we already talked about local camera stores. And of course, they're quick, they're easy. You're supporting local businesses. So camera stores, of course, we have to talk again about. So that's the Camera Exchange if you're in the San Antonio area. Now, if you're in some other area, well, then you've got maybe something that's called Camera Exchange in your area, or some other camera store. There's also uh, if you're in college, there's campus bulletin boards. So students are always looking for good deals. You may be you're limited as to when, because it's only when school is in session. Otherwise, no one's going to see it. And I guess another con would be most college kids don't have any money, but maybe their parents do. Make sure you're checking the rules though, because some campuses are pretty picky about this kind of thing. All right. Whew, I've given you a bunch of options. If you are thinking of some more, let me know in the comments, but I've given you a bunch. Here's the thing. You don't have to pick just one. Many sellers list on multiple platforms. They're casting a wider net. So just remember to keep track of where you've listed. Now, in the next exciting chapter, we're going to talk about how to price your gear just right. It's like Goldilocks. You don't want to be too high. You don't want to be too low. You want to be just right. I want to encourage you right now to click that like button, click that love button. Whenever you hear something that you like, do it multiple times. I love it. And if you haven't already, enter into the comments hashtag live, letting me know that you're here watching live. Now, let's talk about pricing your equipment. This is chapter 3. All right. It's time for everyone's favorite game show, The Price is Right, Camera Edition. Figuring out how much to ask for your gear can feel like a bit of a guessing game, but don't worry. Let's go over a few steps right now to make it easy. There are a few steps that are going to make it easy. The first is, let's talk about the factors that affect price. So before we start throwing numbers around, let's talk about what actually affects the price of your gear. It's kind of like real estate, but instead of location, 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 we've got a few other factors to consider. The age of the equipment. So that's, it's not just a number. In camera years, last year's model may be considered old, but sometimes older means vintage, and that might increase its value. Age of equipment. If your camera gear still if your camera still uses floppy disks, it might be time to lower your expectations or raise them if you find the right collector. Next is condition. Remember when we talked about honestly assessing your gear? This is where it pays off. Think of it like selling a car. A few scratches? No biggie. But dropped it in a lake? Well, that might affect the price a little bit. How about market demand? This is a popularity contest. Some gear is like the star quarterback. Everybody wants it. Other stuff, well, not so much. Sometimes weird, obscure gear can fetch a higher price. Have you heard of lomography? Yep, that's the weird or the cheap stuff. Yeah, it's popular. Included accessories, the "but wait, there's more" effect. You've got things like the original box, the manuals, the lens cap that maybe you thought you lost, but you found it while you were cleaning. It all adds value. Sometimes selling accessories separately can net you more cash, but bundles are attractive to buyers. Yeah, you've got some decisions to make. Next, I want you to research current market prices. Now that we know what affects the price, it's time for some research. Using the completed listings on eBay is one way to do that, because then you find what people actually paid. Don't look at the active listings, not relevant. That's what sellers hope to get. Filter for sold items to see what similar items actually sold for. It's kind of like if you're taking a test and you have access to the answer key. Checking prices on reseller sites. What are the pros saying? So you could go to sites like KEH, B&H, Adorama, The Camera Exchange. That's camerax.com. These can give you a good understanding of what they're able to sell their products for. And they have quick turnaround. So that means they're selling them at a good price that people are willing to pay and pay now. I mean, that's part of the goal for the camera shops. They don't want to keep this on their shelves forever. They want to move as quickly as possible. So this is a good guide. Now, you might want to sell it for a little bit more. You might want to sell it for a little less. It's up to you, but at least you've got some kind of a guide. Now, you could go to you could consult a pricing guide that's online like Collect-a-Blend. Collect-a-Blend. Let me see if I wrote down that. I didn't. All right. So Collect-a-Blend, that's collect I, the letter I, blend.com. Collectablend.com/cameras. They offer price guides for both modern and vintage gear. Collectablend.com. You know what? I probably should write that out. All right, give me a second to write that down because I know that some of you are going to want to see this. Collectablend.com/cameras. Get it right. Misspelled. There we go. All right. So, assuming that that allows me to do that, it's just spinning right now. Don't you love that? There it goes. All right. Collectablend.com/cameras. This is an online pricing guide. Now, this is going to have a wide range. And again, this is just a it's just a place to get info. This isn't necessarily how you're going to price your gear because we're just doing research when you're looking at pricing. So this is one way to do that. The next thing is setting your competitive price. You've done your homework, you know what your gear's worth. Now you got to set your price that's going to get your gear sold and not in 5 years, but pretty soon. So we're balancing fair value versus quick sale. So if you price it too high, it's going to take a while to sell. It might never sell. So ask yourself, how quickly do I need this gone? How much do I need the money? How soon do I need it? You might start a bit higher than your bottom line because if you're going to go through the process, you can always lower the price. Again, you don't have to go through these steps if you just go to a camera store like the Camera Exchange and let them deal with all these kinds of things. All right. So, strategies for pricing bundles versus individual items. Selling everything together, it's convenient. You might make less overall, but you're going to get more people interested. So individual sales might maximize profit, but they're going to take longer. They're going to require more effort. So the bundle strategy, you're pricing it lower than the sum of the individual items to draw attention. Another thing you might consider is the psychology of pricing. Maybe look that up online to get more information about it. But for someone looking for a deal, the 9 trick works, meaning 499 might sound better than 500. There's really no difference there, but it sounds better to those who are looking for a deal. You might do the OBO strategy or best offer, OBO. It invites negotiation without you having to lower your price right off the bat. So there's a couple of strategies. Now, you want to be prepared to negotiate. So build some wiggle room into your price. If you want 800, list it at 850 or 900. Know your bottom line and stick to it. It's okay to walk away from an offer you don't like. Pricing is not an exact science. It's part research, part psychology, and part gut feeling. So don't be afraid to adjust your price if it's just not getting any attention. Chapter 4. By the way, if anything is resonating with you today, do me a favor. Go over to the comment section. Tell me about it. Or just enter in the word yes. Or say, thanks, Jim. This is good. Just some interaction over there. I can see quite a few have done. So maybe I should take a look and see what kind of, uh, let's see. Hey, Wesley. Yeah. Yeah. Orlando's got some stories. Good. Yeah. Oh, thank you for sharing that link, Orlando. Now I know not everybody can see what everybody's doing. So we are simulcasting to 8 different places, and you can only see those who are on your one place where you're at. And I can only see ones that are on Facebook. So I can't see those who are watching on LinkedIn, YouTube, or Instagram. I'm not able to see their comments. I'll look at them after the show, but during the show, I can only see the ones that are on Facebook. Hey, Sierra. Brent, glad you're here. Hey, Kim, good to see you. Or good to know that you're here. All right, chapter 4. Let's move into the next chapter. So I want to help you create an effective listing. Now, this again is if you're going through the process of doing this. The easiest is just to go to your local camera store, cameraexchange.com if you're in San Antonio, and just take your stuff in. But if you're going to go through the process of selling it online, and for some people that is the preferred option, well, then I need to spend a little bit more time with that because there's a lot of variables in doing that. Number 4, creating an effective listing. This is not much different than marketing your photography business. This is where you get to show your stuff and make potential buyers fall head over heels and capture your audience's attention. So let's break it down. The first thing is writing detailed descriptions. You want to paint a picture with words. You know your gear inside and out. Your buyers don't. So it's time to spill the beans and tell them everything they need to know in order to make an educated decision. So this is the who, what, where, when, and how of your gear. So make, model, year, basic specification. So you've got megapixels, zoom range if you're selling a lens, the maximum aperture, all that good stuff. And then any included accessories, usage history. Have you used it like crazy? We need to know, but If it's a camera, you do that by giving the shutter count. But what if this is a lens? What if this is a tripod? You're gonna have to describe it. Think about what you would want to know if you were the one buying this gear that you were unfamiliar with. Honesty is the best policy. Remember when we assessed our gear? It's time to share those secrets. Be upfront about any scratches, dents, quirks. It's like dating. Honesty from the start prevents heartbreak later. If something's not working quite right, say so. Better to lose a sale than deal with an angry buyer later. Many buyers appreciate honesty so much that they'll choose a truthfully described item over a suspiciously perfect one. Speaking the language, using the right terminology, it shows you know your stuff. Like new does not mean only dropped once. Use correct words to describe your work, your 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 items that you're selling. Avoid vague terms. Good condition. Be specific about what that means. If you're not sure about a term, look it up. You want to sound knowledgeable. I want you to create, and you know this, I want you to create high quality images. It's time to show off the skills that you know about photography. So, here's some tips for photographing camera equipment. Just like anything else, use good lighting. Now, for camera equipment, soft natural light is often the best. A clean, plain white or maybe light gray background, usually ideal. Multiple angles. I mean, show your gear from all sides. It's on a catwalk from below, from the sides, from above, every angle that you can think of. Include those in your include those photographs in your listing. All right. Let's highlight the details, and as far as showing the condition, yes, even the scratches, I want you to photograph them. Remember, honesty sells. Capture the essentials, the sensor on a camera, the lens mount to make sure it's not bent, the battery compartment to make sure there's nothing funky going on in there, etc. Don't forget the accessories, the cables, the caps, the cases need love too. If there's a feature that sells your gear that set showcase it. And as far as photographing the work, keep it consistent. Use the same background, use the same lighting, similar composition for similar items. That makes it easier for the buyers to compare, to really get a good picture in their mind of what it is you're selling. Of course, we need to think about the platform features. So each selling platform has its own rules and quirks. So learn how to play their game and get your listing in front of more people. You want to use the correct categories, tags. So choosing the right category. You want to use all available subcategories. The more specific, the better. You want to use tags. Think about what buyers might search for. Look at similar listings to see what categories and tags that they're using. Now, we also want to talk about the listing duration. And with some, you choose that. So too short, you might miss some potential buyers. Too long, it looks like no one wants your work or buyers move on to get something that they can get right now. All right, you've got to consider these different things. Consider the platform. eBay auctions are different from Facebook marketplace listings. Think about timing. Listing that super telephoto lens right before bird migration season, that might be a smart move. Promotional features. The pay to play options. Many platforms offer paid promotions. They can potentially be worth it for those higher value items. Consider featured listings, homepage promotions, boosted posts. Do the math. Will the extra exposure justify the cost? Remember, a well crafted listing can often perform just as well as a promoted mediocre one. let me give you some ideas on um, maybe some platform specific tips. So eBay loves detail. They all do, but eBay loves detail. Use all those items, the item specific fields. Facebook Marketplace, well, it's all about local. So emphasize that you are open to meet with the buyer. If you're working with Reddit, make sure to follow the subreddit's specific rules. I mean, to the letter. You need to really pay attention there. Creating an effective listing is like composing the perfect photograph. It takes time, attention to detail, a bit of artistry, but get it right, and you'll have buyers lining up like it's a limited edition lens release day. You know what? If you're thinking of some specific examples of what you have done, I know some of you have already done this already, but put your specific examples in the comments. Go to the comments and share any of your specific experiences or any questions that what I have talked about so far has brought up. Next thing I want to talk about is managing the sales process. And man, I made this topic is way longer than I thought it was going to be. When I first started writing, I was thinking, "Man, this is gonna be so short, it's not gonna last an hour." And then going into it, I'm thinking, "I'm gonna have to cut some stuff out." And I'm looking at the time now, and I clearly didn't cut enough stuff out. Hmm, okay, well, now I know. Chapter 5. You've got inquiries. You might have to negotiate. You're closing the deal. You don't wanna lose your mind over this. Your listing's up. The inquiries are rolling in faster than your shutter on high burst mode. Now, maybe this is the tricky part, actually selling your gear. So you're going to be communicating with potential buyers. Quick responses make or break a sale. Quickly. Reply so quickly that they think you're a psychic who can tell the future. Yeah. Be professional, even if the buyer isn't. You're running a business here, not a debate club. Although questions, or excuse me, answer questions thoroughly. If someone's asking about a dent, give them the full story. Let's talk about negotiations. Expect haggling. It's not personal. Everyone wants a good deal. Know your bottom line though and stick to it. Counter offers are your friend. So maybe they say, maybe you reply, I can't do 800, but I could do 850. You could use the because trip. I'm firm on the price because this lens has barely been used and it includes filters as part of the deal. So you may have good reasons. Red flags, stay away from the emotional sob stories. Everyone loves a deal, but be wary of emotional manipulation. We photographers, a lot of us are far from immune from that one. We know it because we deal with it when we're photographing. We have clients who give us an emotional story and we feel for them because that's the kind of people we are. But if you go buy a car, do they reduce the amount because you are in a tough situation? What about when you go to McDonald's, Whataburger? Are they reducing the price because you had a bad day? Mm. We photographers do that, but it's not necessarily a good business choice. You get to choose. Hmm. There's other things like if someone's asking above the price you asked for, there might be a reason for that. They may say things like, "Can I pay in gift cards?" No. Easiest thing is either cash if it's in person or some kind of a secure payment method online, like PayPal. It offers buyer and seller protection. You've got Venmo, it's quick and easy, but maybe there's less protection for high value items. You've got bank transfers, they're secure, but man, they're slow. And then you've got cash for local sales, if you're comfortable with that. When it comes to crypto, some people like doing that. It's a personal judgment call. So there's a lot of pros and cons with the different types of payment options that you have. By the way, if you want the handout that includes a lot more stuff that I'm actually able to share here because of time, then just reach out to me directly at Jim at Landers Photo School, Jim at Landers Photo School, and say, send me the handout for today's show, and I'll send that to you. And I do charge for it, but it's only $10. So send that to me if you want the additional information. There's a ton of additional information that I'm not able to share. So there's that. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. When it comes to shipping, man, sometimes this is a pain, but take care with it. Bubble wrap, more bubble wrap, double box valuable items. Better safe than sorry. Remove batteries from devices. You don't want to risk anything that could happen with things like that. Now you're choosing the right shipping service, UPS, USPS, FedEx. There's a lot of different ones. Compare prices and services. Consider delivery versus speed. Consider flat rate options if you've got heavier items. You've got insurance and tracking. For photographers, that means, well, getting insurance. This is CYA. By the way, for photographers, CYA means cover your aperture. It means something totally different for everybody else. For photographers, it means cover your aperture. Always get insurance for valuable items, and require a signature on delivery. It's annoying, but it prevents the "I never received it" claims. Keep all shipping receipts, tracking numbers, document it all. Now, you can see that's a lot of stuff to have to deal with. It's one reason why I don't want to go to all those things, because I don't value those. I value just my time. So taking it to the camera exchange and taking care of it usually. Of course, most of the time I give stuff away. I don't usually sell things. All right. There's a ton more, but because of time, I'm skipping through quite a bit of this. And skipping through that. Oh man, some good stuff I'm skipping through. I don't like skipping through this. And by the way, if you haven't already, do me a favor, go to the comment section and enter in hashtag live if you haven't already. Let me know that you're here. Now, after you've sold your gear, chapter 6, you're feeling pretty good, but you're not quite done yet. Think of this as post-processing stage of your sale. It might not be as exciting as the photography itself, but it's a crucial step in this final process. So let's dive in. Following up with buyers, customer service encore. You're ensuring customer satisfaction. You've got happy buyers, happy life. Reach out after the delivery. A simple "did everything arrive okay" if you're shipping it can go a long way, and be genuinely interested in their experience. Maybe they've already taken some beautiful images with their gear. Offer to answer any questions about the gear. Handling issues or returns, well, when things go sideways, stay calm, professional, even if the buyer isn't calm and professional and they're just upset. Listen to their concerns. Sometimes people just want to be heard. They don't want anything, they just want to be listened to. If there's a genuine issue, work towards a fair solution. For returns, have a clear policy and stick to it. But remember, a little flexibility can turn a negative experience into a positive one. With many of the online options, your online reputation plays a role here. So, gotta consider that as well. All right, skipping past quite a few things. I'm skipping that. All right. Yeah, skipping that. Ugh, I don't like skipping stuff. I do want to touch on chapter 7 just a bit, because we do have to consider the tax considerations. When you're selling anything, familiarize yourself with the terms of service and seller protection programs offered by various online selling platforms. But eBay's terms of service outlines the rules for listing items, payment methods, seller responsibilities. Familiar yourself with those individuals' policies. You want to know what their prohibited items are, although you probably won't be selling any of that, but still get to know the stuff, their listing practices, their fee structures, how things work. Same thing with Amazon. Same thing with any online sales option, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, whatever it is. And so, yeah, I'm going to skip past that. Can't believe how much I'm skipping past. Time. Yeah. Skip, skip. I wanted to talk just briefly about the tax implications, so I'm skipping to that. Um, Man, when you're selling used equipment, it can have tax implications. So it's important to understand when you have to report income from the sales and how to keep records for tax purposes. So when do you report income? Income from selling used equipment is generally taxable and has to be reported to the IRS. So here are some considerations. If you're just doing some casual sales, you just occasionally sell a personal item and not for very much, then typically you don't need to report that income. I'm not a lawyer, so I'm just sharing with you some thoughts. You need to research this yourself. But if you sell items that are at a profit, the gain's going to be taxable. When it comes to business sales, if you're regularly selling photography equipment as part of your business, then of course you're going to have to report all your income. This applies even if you're selling personal items that have been converted to business use. So platforms like eBay, PayPal, Amazon, maybe some others will issue a Form 1099-K if your sales exceed $600 in gross sales for the year. This form reports the gross amount uh, of payment and to the IRS, and you have got to include this income on your tax return. So keep those records. Keep for tax purposes. Maintain accurate records for tax compliance. All right, man, a lot of variables here. I'm just going to skip right down to the end. I've got some closing thoughts for you. By the way, as soon as I give you those closing thoughts, I'm going to tell you what the upcoming shows are. So stay tuned for that. Selling your used equipment, that can be a rewarding experience, whether you're looking to make some extra cash, upgrade your gear, or simply clear out some space. Here's a really brief recap of the key points to keep in mind. Assessing your equipment. Understand the condition and value of your equipment. Research current prices to set realistic expectations. Choosing the right platform. Consider the pros and cons of different selling platforms: eBay, Amazon, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist. Each has its unique features and audience. Create effective listings. Take high quality images. Write detailed descriptions and place your items competitively to attract, price them competitively to attract buyers. And of course, legal and tax considerations. Familiarize yourself with the terms and service conditions and seller protection programs of the platform you choose. Understand the tax implications of selling used equipment and keep records. It's important. It is so important to make informed decisions when selling your equipment, whether you choose to sell online or at a local camera store or even give your gear away. Ensure that you understand the process and protect yourself from potential pitfalls. For those who prefer simplicity, like me, take your gear to a trusted local store like the Camera Exchange. This is straightforward, it's hassle free. I mean, if you don't like the price they give you, well, then leave. Yeah, it's as simple as that. Personally, I am more likely to give my used equipment away to someone who's going to appreciate it and benefit from it. I've given away a ton of stuff over the years. In fact, when we moved out of our office in 2020, we gave at least 3/4 of our stuff away. We didn't sell anything. So, sharing your equipment with others can be incredibly fulfilling and can create lasting value for someone else. Remember, the process of selling or giving away your equipment should be enjoyable. Take the time to explore your options, make informed decisions, have fun with it. Whether you're upgrading to new gear or passing your trusted tools on to someone new, you're contributing to a vibrant community of photographers who share your passion. So, good luck and happy selling or giving. I want to talk about the shows that we have coming up. Every single Monday, we have another show. So here's a look at the upcoming shows. In 1 week from today, we have that's July 29th, the last one of July. Can you believe that already? And let me add this to the stage real quick. That and this. Oop, that's the one I already added. All right. So, in 1 week from today, capture attention in social media photographer RFPs, request for photographer. Have you ever felt like your response to social media photographer requests gets lost in the crowd? I mean, there's 121 photographers who are responding to someone who says, "I need a headshot." You're going to get lost in the crowd. So discover how to stand out from it and capture the attention of potential clients with tailored strategies that go beyond the usual replies. Join me to learn how to turn these opportunities into booked sessions. And then a week after that, on August 5th, we have From Limitations to Opportunities. So break free of what's holding you back and unlock the potential in your business and discover practical ways to turn your limitations into opportunities. Yes, your limitations, they're going to become opportunities as a result of this show. Tune in live, share your thoughts, and let's redefine what's possible. And then on August 12th, we have our that's the second Monday of each month where we move the time to 6:30 in the evening and we have a panel discussion. So we are bringing on 3 panelists. So join us as we explore how shifting your mindset can turn challenges into opportunities. With our panelists, you'll discover the power of a positive outlook and learn actionable strategies to elevate your photography business. Our panelists are Stephanie Saldivar, Amy Wanat, and Jennifer Ritter. So come see them on August 12th. And then on August 19th, we have online resources to help you stay informed. There's a lot of things out there, but there are some really good ones that are going to help you stay on top of things. On August 19th, I'm going to share those with you so you're not wasting your time. August 19th at noon, online resources to help you stay informed. Now, I want to thank you, Lens Legends, for being here today for the 177th episode of the Portrait Profit Show. Quick tips for selling extra equipment. Thank you for joining me today. I encourage you to like and to share the Portrait Profit Show. And of course, tune in next week to our weekly live stream. Keep learning, keep experimenting, keep creating, and keep having fun. Yeah. Lens Legends, you are making beautiful images. But that's not all you're making. You're making an impact on everyone around you. So as we end another show, I hope that the ideas and strategies that we've explored today have resonated with you so that you're able to move forward with confidence. I want you to draw strength from the community of portrait photographers who have walked this path before you and who are walking it with you, learning and growing with each step. The world is waiting for your unique vision, your ability to touch lives through the power of portraiture. Trust in your talents, believe in the impact you can make, and let your light shine brightly. Seize today as an opportunity to let your passion soar and make the world a more beautiful place, one portrait at a time. I want to thank you for your time and attention here today. And thank you for the efforts that you make every day to be such an amazing portrait photographer. Together, we help each other achieve our goals and make a difference in the world through our passion for portrait photography. So, for Landers Photography School and Digital Pro Lab, my name is Jim Landers, and I'm bringing you the weekly Portrait Profit Show. Until I see you next week, Lens Legends, I want you to keep thriving, keep growing, and keep making your long-lasting mark on the world. I look forward to watching you grow. You guys are awesome. Bye for now.